לכו נרננה נריע לצור אישנו נקדמה פניו בתודה בזמירות נריע לו
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It's Cantor Paul here, along with Rabbi Kupitz and many other fantastic contributors to our service this Shabbat. You were listening to, right at the end there, listening to Nava Tehila from Yerushalayim, and before that, about 15 minutes of our friends from BTI, Beit Tefillah Yisrael, the relatively the progressive community of Tel Aviv, who was probably having services at the beach this morning, our time, Erev Shabbat, their time, and we love their music and look forward to being able to join them at their Shabbat worship sometime in the near future after a lot of this restrictions are past their usefulness. May it come speedily and soon. So, Rabbi?
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you for being with us. Say hello. Some of you have, but say hello in the chat on Facebook Live, both to each other and to us, so that we know that you are with us and so that we can build a sense of community, even though we can't be together. We try to be together here in a virtual embrace. We at TBI, often we put our arms around each other as sometimes at the end of our service when we sing Adon Olam. I think when we join here, we want to think about our arms being around each other in a broader sense as well, and that we are here together as a community. We're going to begin. I'm going to share my screen, but if you have your own books, it's page 24. We're going to begin with Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem Malachei Hasharet Malchei 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 Elyon Mimelech Mimelech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu HaKadosh Baruch Hu Boachem L'Shalom Malachei Hashalom Malchei 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 Elyon Mimelech Mimelech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu HaKadosh Baruch Hu Baruch Hu Nil Shalom Malachei Hashalom Malchei, Malchei, Malchei Elyon Mimelech, Mimelech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yadadai 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 Seichem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malchei, malchei, malchei elyon, mimelech, mimelech, malchei amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu HaKadosh Baruch Hu. One more time. Yadadai, yadadai, yai dai 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 yai dai dai ya da da dai dai yai dai 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 yai dai 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 dai.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. You can see the candles there right over Cantor Paul's shoulder. And
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. As we brought in that Shabbat light, may we let the Shabbat light come into our heart. We take a moment to review the week, to look back on the week that has been, to spend a moment on each day, on its challenges and on its blessings. And then we'll join in singing Lecha Dodi. If you have your own book at home, it's pages 20 and 21. We will sing together verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we get to verse 9, depending on where you are in your home, we face our door, the entry to our home, as we symbolically welcome the Shabbat presence and that Neshama Yetera, that extra soulfulness that travels with us during Shabbat, into our home and into our heart.
Lecha Dodi likrat kalai alalai 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 B'nei Shabban nehekabela Lecha Dodi likrat kalai alalai 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 B'nei Shabban nehekabela Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echan Hishmianu el hamyuchan Adonai echan Ushmo echan Shem ultiferet velit hila Lechadoni likrat kalai alalai 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 B'nei Shabbat nehekabela Lechadoni likrat kalai alalai 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 B'nei Shabbat kabela likrat Shabbat mechuven elcha ki mekor habracha merosh mikedem nesucha sob maaseh b'machva tchila Lechadoni likrat kalai alalai 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 B'nei Shabbat nehekabela Lechadoni likrat kalai alalai 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 B'nei Shabbat nehekabela Hitoreri hitoreri kivaore kumeori Shira Beiri, Kevod Adonai, Alayich Nigla, Lechadoni likrat kalai alalai 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 B'nei Shabbat kabela Lechadoni likrat kalai alalai 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 B'nei Shabbat kabela ושלום, עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך אדוני לקראת כלה, יללי, 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 ונשבת נקבלה. לך אדוני לקראת כלה, יללי, 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 ונשבת נקבלה.
We continue with Chatzi Kaddish, page 26, if you have a Siddur at home.
יתגדל ויקדש שמי רבה, ועל מה דברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביום מכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל, בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו
Amen.
יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר וירומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה
Birichu.
לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה כאמירן בעלמה ויאמרו אמן.
We continue with Baruch Hu, our call to prayer, page 28.
Lai la 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 Lai la 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 Lai la 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 Lai la 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 Lai la 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 Lai la 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 Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Leolam Vaed HaMevorach HaMevorach Leolam Vaed.
Continue with Shema Yisrael. Whoops.
I don't think so.
No. There it is. We continue with the last three lines in the Hebrew on page 30.
El Chai v'Kayam Tamidim l'chaleinu l'olam vaed Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Hu Baruch Shemo.
Ama'ariv Aravi.
Amen. Continue with Ahavat Olam, page 32, if you have a book at home.
Is So I have a bit of a special presentation for Ahavat Olam this evening. And I was reading a book that I received considering the state we're in as a nation, on protest songs and the origin of protest songs. And the author was lamenting in a way how everybody thinks that every song has to be a love song. What happened to all the good topical songs that were so important in shaping our psyche as a nation, our psyche as a people, and certainly our psyche as Jews? But a bit of a counter to that, I've always had somewhat of an impression that even the most deeply ingrained songs of our tefillah, of course, are addressed to God, but so too are all of those popular songs that we've come to know. You know, they may be to a lover or to the beloved, but on some basic level, with very little adaptation, the lyrics can hold true for our relationship with God, the Holy One of Blessing. So I was not able, unfortunately, to get James Taylor to appear here in the Cantorial Asylum for Shabbat. Not only is he busy, he's slightly immune compromised, so he decided he didn't want to risk it, but I was able to get his band to make a contribution. So I think many of you will know this, and please sing along, especially on the chorus. Ahavat Olam Beth Yisrael Amcha Ahavta Torah u'mitzvot hukim u'mishpatim otanu limadetam Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbeinu u'v'kumenu Nasiach b'chukecha v'nizmach b'divrei Toratecha u'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna turn out better if you only will. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna be much better if you only will. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvehem negei yomam ve'layla ve'ahavatcha al tasir mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael. Oh, blessed are you, Adonai, who loves people of Israel. Everybody now. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna be much better if you only will. Oh, that's what I say. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna be much better if you only will. La 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 la.
Shower the people you love. Show them the way that you feel.
Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. We move to Shema Yisrael. Speaking of love. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
We continue, page 36 with Ve'ahavta.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Emet. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there's a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, and that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקעם לפני משה ומרים. זה אלי אנו. ואמרו Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Mi kamocha bailim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, norah tehilot osei felon. Norah tehilot osei felon. Norah tehilot osei felon. Ne'emar ki Adonai et Yaakov ugalo me'ad chazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Baruch Shemo.
Gal Yisrael.
Amen. Turn to Hashkivenu, page 42, as we ask the Holy One to shelter us with a Sukkot Shalom, a shelter of peace, to allow us to lay down with a sense of wholeness in our heart, and to rise up with a sense of purpose each day.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom Vehamidenu shomreinu lechayim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom Vehamidenu shomreinu lechayim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha ushmot zetenu uvoenu. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha ushmot zetenu uvoenu. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom Vehamidenu shomreinu lechayim. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom Aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim.
Shabbat gives a pause for us in our week, a time to take stock, to connect with the Holy One and with each other and with our truest selves as well. And we give thanks for that pause. Sing together Vishamru.
Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasod et ha-Shabbat lidorotam merit olam. Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasod et ha-Shabbat lidorotam merit olam.
ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
As we move into our Amidah, if you're in a place that you can create your own space, standing, changing your position, kind of creating a holy space around you, we begin with Adonai Svatai Tivtach, and we'll chant the first few blessings together, and then have some time for silent reflection.
So we started off this evening before Rabbi and I came on with music from Beit TBI Israel, and this is something we learned from them.
Oh, Shah, oh, Shah, oh, Shah, oh, Shah, oh, Shah, oh, Shah, oh, Sefatai Tivtach Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Koneh HaKol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imaot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai,
Baruch Hu Baruch Shemo.
Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah.
Amen.
אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, בחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממיר ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני,
Baruch Hu Baruch Shemo.
מחיי הכל.
Amen. We continue on page 52. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Baruch atah Adonai,
Baruch Hu Baruch Shemo.
Ha'el HaKadosh.
Amen.
We continue silently with the text of our own hearts. If you have a book at home, you can go through page 62, 63. So we have some private time now, and then in a moment, we'll have an offering from Randy Polovoy.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I am going to play a piece by Sergei Rachmaninoff called Vocalise. Very famous piece. Some of you may have heard of it. It was published in 1912 as part of a larger cycle of, or larger collection of pieces for voice with piano accompaniment. Now, the song has no words and usually sung on a vowel of the singer's choosing. So usually you hear ah, and I think one could make the case, although Rachmaninoff didn't do this deliberately and he was not Jewish, he wrote a type of nigun, if you will, for a wordless chant. And although the melody is not of Jewish origin, and the words are not yai dai dai di dai, it is a type of wordless chant which is technically a nigun. Now, there have been many arrangements of this piece over the years, many, and this particular one I'm going to be doing is a arrangement for solo piano, but it's an excerpt, so it's been shortened. So this is Vocalise, Sergei Rachmaninoff.
Thank you, Randy.
You're
That's
welcome.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Great to spend a little bit of time with all of you. We start a new book of the Torah this week, Devarim, Deuteronomy. And we have these words. These are the words, Devarim, that Moses addressed to all Israel on the other side of the Jordan. So as we begin the fifth and final book of the Torah, Devarim, literally words, the words that Moses spoke to the Israelites before they crossed over into Israel. Rashi, the great medieval Jewish commentator, and others understand the theme of Devarim, both the Torah portion and the entire book, to be tochacha, or rebuke, to the people for all the times they forgot about or angered God. Rashi has several examples of this in his commentary on this opening verse, but he focuses on the word all in the verse. These are the words, according to Rashi, of rebuke that Moses addressed to all Israel. Rashi brings an unusual example, which loosely paraphrased goes like this. If the people had been out in the market and didn't hear Moses's rebuke, they could have said, hey, you heard what Moses said about this and that, and you didn't object. But if we had been there, we would have answered him right back. So Moses brought all of them together and said, see, you're all here. If anybody has an objection, speak up. Now, what's strange about Rashi's question is that you might ask, what market? They're out in the desert across the Jordan River. We have in Rashi an anachronistic example, which tips us off that the commentary is not meant to be taken literally, certainly not at that moment, but rather as an illustration of the human tendency to believe that societal problems are somebody else's responsibility and not our own. That is, if Moses had rebuked me, I have a great answer as to why the difficulties of the Jewish people of the world at large aren't my fault. But you other people, you don't have a good answer for Moses. The Torah portion, Devarim, is always read the week leading up to the observance of Tisha B'Av, the memorial day of the Jewish people that remembers all the tragedies that have befallen us in our history. Traditionally, a day of fasting and of prayer and penitence. Tisha B'Av is in many ways the beginning of the season of the days of awe. As we fast and reflect upon the brokenness of the world, it is precisely so that we can take responsibility for our own piece of that brokenness, or at least our failure to fix what we can, starting with ourselves. Whether it's our own implicit bias, or the breakdown of social bonds, or our failure to care for those most vulnerable, the rebuke for those problems is on all of us. In a different, but perhaps not so different context, Abraham Joshua Heschel famously said, some are guilty, but all are responsible. Moses called all the people to account. Nobody was permitted to say, this doesn't apply to me, that the problems we encounter in society are not my fault. Should we be any different in deeply reflecting upon how to bring healing and repentance to a world which is so shattered and broken and so in need of our work and our healing? Shabbat Shalom. We are going to turn now to our prayer for healing, to Misha Berach. And I'm going to put the Hebrew words, or some of the Hebrew words, which are part of our text that we sing together, up on the screen.
O Holy One, who blessed our mothers, who blessed our fathers from ancient days, bless and heal those in our hearts, and hear our prayer as we say their names. Akadosh Baruch Hu, Yimaleh Rachamim Aleichem, Lehachzikam Ulrapa'otam, Veishlach Lahem Refuah Shlema, Refuat ha-nefesh, Refuat ha-guf, V'tok sha'ar cholei Yisrael, oh, bless and heal those in our hearts, and hear our prayer when we say their name.
We offer blessings upon Rebecca Gilman, Bela Pasternak, Hannah Fields Austin, Eran Goichenberg, Sue Tobak, Alicia Goldfarb, Paula Steinbach, Rosalind Lefkowitz, Helen Weinfeld, Gabrielle Silton, Pam Poliakoff, Connie Shapiro, Kathy Blumenfeld, Gloria Austin, Caitlin Antrim, Judith Bosworth, Kathy Brewster, Doug Austin, David Bush, Stephanie Holland, Mark Goldberg, Maureen Fenton, Jennifer Rudin, Susan Brewer, Charity Razade, James Stead, Ed Ansell, Marion Schneiders, Kimberly Zimmerman, Judith Schweitzer, Lori Snyder, Gail Gant, Brad Holland, Isley Holland, Jacob McNaughton, Bernie Carmatz, Mike Klein, Michelle Raphael, Beatrice Caden, John Kerr, Meg Silton, Ken Mitchell, Linda Jones, Allison Auerbach, Ramon Diaz, Henry Gerard, Kirby Perkins, Brenda Found Gerard, Serena Postal, Laura Morse, Dominique Comby, Bear Hartman, John Hodges, Tammy Zipser, and Melissa Cobb.
Hakadosh Baruch Hu, Yimaleh Rachamim Aleichem, oh, bless and heal those in our hearts, and hear our prayer as we say their names.
Shabbat Shalom. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, welcome you here to this service on Facebook Live and Zoom. Thank Rabbi Jonathan Kupetz, Kentor Paul Bush, and music from Dr. Randy Polovoy. Please refer to the TBI update email every Thursday that has the listings of both the services that are offered on Facebook Live and events that are happening. See them on Mondays and Wednesdays. Tisha B'Av service coming up on Wednesday. The Torah, excuse me, I apologize here in my notes. The Torah study on Saturday morning, and of course, Havdalah on Saturday evening. Two events that I wanted to mention that we have coming up here. Starting this next Tuesday, we have a new Israeli bookshelf series starting the 28th at 7:15 on Zoom. Session will be focused on Yossi Klein Halevi's readable book, Letters to My Palestinian Neighbor. Discussion will be very interactive, should be enjoyable, even if you haven't read the book. Please find more information in the TBI update and RSVP to the office if you'll be attending. In addition, there is a wonderful play reading group that's going to be starting. That information is also in the update email, and there's a link there to the Kehila. Remember, it does have a password on it here, but it will have all of the events listings that are going on. And again, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Jack. Cantor Bush, do you have anything to add to those
Sure.
announcements?
I do want to mention, though it's not an official TBI event, a number of congregations in our community that we're engaged with on the Claremont Interfaith Council and in other places are sponsoring a motorcade tomorrow supporting Black Lives Matter. And while I said it's not an official TBI event, it's something that Rabbi Kupitz and I are supportive of. And if you are interested in attending and participating, there's information at the top of the Temple email. There's a link there to an information flyer. And those of you who know Jeff Pass, who serves on our Board of Trustees in the Social Action Committee, he's offered to coordinate any TBIers who want to be there. If you know Jeff or his email, don't hesitate to send him a note that you might be there. And I don't know right now that there's a TBI meeting place, but we do have a tendency to find each other. So that's one of the things that I wanted to say. Rabbi mentioned Tisha B'Av. I also do music with our preschool age kids every week. This week it will only be on Thursday at 11 a.m. and that's on the TBI preschool Facebook page. Speaking of TBI preschool, we are enrolling for the fall semester. If you know anyone who has eligible children or in the community, whether a part of the TBI community directly or not, my understanding is we still have some spots available. So please direct them to Deborah Pruitt at the TBI preschool office. That's it from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Cantor. And Jack mentioned it, but just that we'll be here tomorrow here. We'll be on Zoom tomorrow evening at 7:30 for Havdalah. So you don't have to wait too long to see us. And if you sign on Zoom, we can actually see you. And that would be really wonderful. We love to see your faces as well, which we don't get to do on Shabbat when we are broadcasting rather than kind of in a meeting format. So we hope to see you soon as well. We're going to continue as we move toward the end of our service with Aleinu L'Shabeach. I have to get the page up here. And we start halfway down the page here with Aleinu.
Aleinu L'Shabeach Ladon HaKol Latet Gedula Leotzer Breshit שלא עשנו כגויי הרצות ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה שלא שם חלקנו כהם וגורלנו ככל המונם אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
We take a moment to remember those who have been important in our lives and have left this earth, those who have died in recent days or at this time in years past. We remember Andrea Trope, friend of Marilyn Lubarsky, Evelyn Mastov, friend of Beth Litton. Remember May Augarten, Herbert Herb Rosenzweig, husband of Myra Rosenzweig, Eugene Jean Breen, father of Stephanie Baker, Dorothy Moss, mother of Stephen Moss. We remember the Yortzites, the anniversaries of the deaths of Martha Dunn, Ruth Greenstein, Lillian Hecht, Zelda Horwitz, Ed Reckon, Adele Savage, Robert Zipser, Esther Frank, Mildred Gozansky, Robert Gross, Ben Moschel, Naomi Sugar, Meyer Asher, Hal Goldman, Judith Handelsman, Bernard Lisker, Leon Salter, Nathan Schulman, Nathan Stern, Maury Baker, Harry Dizengoff, John Elmovich, Rose Schumann, Samuel Bellman, Janice Berman, Esther Grossman, Etta Jones, Sarah Sololevich, Jeannie Rudnick, Bella Schulman, Nathan Zuckerman, Sheila N. Kaloff, Elizabeth Amanda Ewing, Victor Kaufman, Elizabeth Ruth Ramsdell, Bella Schulman, Molly Sherman, Faye Strober, Harry Aids, Abraham Elias, Sarah Nathan, Samuel Rizik, Marion Vihon, Wallace Wright, and Wallace Wright. If you're remembering people and you'd like to mention them in our chat to share them with others in the community, feel free to do that. And of course, we carry all of our loved ones and those we remember as a congregation in our hearts and our minds as we recite the words of Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
B'alma divra chirute v'amlich malchute. B'chayachon uv'yomechon uv'chaye d'chol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agalau v'zman kari v'imru. Amen.
Amen.
Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam olamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei dukudusha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush v'chata v'nechemata. Da'amiram bi'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen.
Amen.
Zichronam livracha. May their memories always be for a blessing. And we'll conclude with the final stanza of Biyado, or of Adon Olam, which is Biyado. Let's sing together.
Beyado afiduchi, ein ishan ve'a'ira, ve'im ruchi geviati, Adonai li ve'lo yira, ve'im ruchi geviati, Adonai li ve'lo yira. My soul I give to you, my spirit in your care. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Hold me in your hand. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Safely in your hand. Ve'yado av kiduchi, ve'rishan ve'a'ira, ve'im ruchi geviati, Adonai li ve'lo ira, ve'im ruchi geviati, Adonai li ve'lo yira.
We're going to join in Kiddush and Motzi and close together that way. So if you have juice or wine, you can grab it, and we'll start our blessing in just a moment.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uv'sason hinchaltanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikrai kodesh zechar letziat Mitzrayim ki vanu vacharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim ve'shabbat kodshecha be'ava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Chaim.
L'chaim. We are now going to bless our bread. We have chocolate chip here, but some of you may have gotten challah this week. If it was you were on the rotation this week, you may have some TBI challah to be blessing, or whatever else you've got there.
I was on the rotation.
So here we go.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Thank you so much for being with us. Hope to see you all soon. Lehitraot.
And if you haven't done it so far, please don't hesitate to send us your Shabbat selfies and other pictures of your family enjoying, participating, engaging in Shabbat. We're looking to put together a collage that we can use for the upcoming holy days. So please look to the Kehillah for the link or the weekly email. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Great to see you all here.
Shabbat shalom.